All right, guys, so our next lesson is on triangles. Now, you're going to see some things about triangles that you probably already know, kind of like last lesson when it came to angles. But a big portion of today's triangle lesson has to do with actual angles that deal within the triangle, okay? So we have vocab on here, so follow along. Here we go. Our very first word, and it is kind of small because it's just what kind of came out. So sorry, just listen. All right, our very first word is line segment. Everyone?
Line segment.
So, I don't know, I copied and pasted and printed it out, and for some reason the words came out really small. But we'll see it here in a bit. So, a line segment says part of a line containing two endpoints and all the points between them. That's what a line segment is. Okay? Now, first of all, like I was saying, words came out small, but for some reason the diagrams did not. So there you go. Ta-da! Huge diagram, right? So that is considered a line segment. Now, you say, well, what does that mean, Mr. Wilkins? Well, here's what it means. Is what we don't have here is we don't have those things where the line continues to go. That is called a line. With a line segment, we don't have that. It means we start there, in there. Boom. And it talks about all the points in between, but it doesn't continue to go. That's what a line segment is. Okay? In math. So, our next word is triangle. Everyone?
Triangle.
All right. This is a figure having three sides and three angles. All right? A lot of people don't ever think about it that way, but yeah, three angles. That's a big part of this homework. All right, our next word is vertex. Everyone?
Vertex.
So this is a point where the segments of a triangle intersect. That's what the book says a vertex is. So bottom line is, ta-da, there's a vertex right there. All right. No one's messing with the door, it's just the wind outside. All right, here we go. This may be the first year ever where wind has become a problem in the classroom, so distraction. All right, here we go. Next word, interior angle. Everyone?
Interior angle.
This is an angle inside the polygon. So if we're talking about a triangle, right, that arrow is showing you, this is considered an interior angle. So if we said that a triangle has three angles, it's not necessarily true. You would say it has three interior angles. Okay? Because the next one is exterior angle. Everyone?
Exterior angle.
This is an angle formed by one side of the triangle and the extension of the adjacent side. This is considered what's called an exterior angle. Let me ask you guys, just a little side note, consider we just came off of our lesson about angles. This exterior angle, if this exterior angle was 100 degrees, what would be this interior angle here?
80.
Very nice, 80 degrees. Okay. So exterior angle, if we know it, can sometimes help us solve what the interior angle is. And that's why that's important. Okay? Because they're supplementary angles. All right, and then last is congruent. Everyone?
Congruent.
And this is, in terms of this lesson, line segments that have the same length, or angles that have the same measure, or figures that have the same size and shape. Okay? That's what it means to be congruent. All right? So, with that said, let's go ahead. And if you haven't already done so, a lot of you guys have, grab your piece of paper. Grab your book, flip over to page 506, and in the meantime, I'm going to make sure the door stops rattling. All right, thank you, those of you who are ready to go. All right, so really quickly, let's make sure we're on 506, but I want, just like last lesson, I want you to take a look at page 505. Okay? Because in this first section, what you're going to see me do is I'm going to look and use that. And some of these, hopefully anyway, you guys have many of these memorized. Okay? But I'm thinking right now that some of you may have had them memorized, but you have temporary amnesia, or I don't know. All of a sudden we just don't know some of these. So that's why this will hopefully help you out. So okay. So if I take a look on page 506, problem number 3, okay, we have something that looks, it's not going to be exact, but gives you guys a, looks like this. You have a little square there, and this isn't exact for sure, but you guys see these here. Both of these are in centimeters. All right, so it's not drawn to scale, obviously. All right, but I don't want to waste time redrawing it. So on number 3, it says, find the value of x in each triangle, then classify each triangle by its angles and by the sides. So here's what we're going to do. Okay? On problem number 3, and remember, you don't necessarily have to do this. I don't believe it's even on your homework, right? So just watch carefully. All right? So I'm going to go ahead. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find this missing angle. Well, I know that this missing angle here, plus 45 degrees, plus that square right there is 90 degrees. All interior angles of a triangle, I remember from elementary school, equals 180 degrees. So, just like we were doing in our last lesson, I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms. And there they are right there. 45 plus 90, well, 45 plus 100 is 145, but plus 90 is 135. I go ahead and solve for x. And we get x is equal, if I don't have a calculator, do a little borrowing here, 45 degrees. So that's the first thing. Then it does say classify each triangle by its angles and by its sides. So here's what it's talking about. On page 505, they want us to classify it by its angles, this row here, and by its sides. So we're going to give it 2 names. So by its angles, remember, we have, and this is from elementary school as well, acute triangles mean that all angles, interior angles, are acute. Obtuse triangle means you have one obtuse angle, interior angle, and a right triangle means you have one right angle, interior angle there. Okay? So if I take a look, it has a right angle. So this is a right, and I'm going to go ahead and then take a look at my sides here. No congruent sides is a scalene. 2 congruent sides is an isosceles, and all 3 of them congruent is called an equilateral. So if I take a look at my lengths, okay, yeah, 2 congruent sides, so it is an isosceles. So it is a right isosceles triangle. And that missing angle, so it's a 2-parter. Give it a name and find the missing angle. All right? All right, so let's go ahead and do one as a class. So let's take a look. Same page. Number 19. Okay, number 19 looks like this. So this is x degrees, this interior angle. This interior angle is 95 degrees, and this exterior angle is 142 degrees. Okay? If I read the directions, it doesn't tell me to classify them. So it just says find the value of x, which is nice. It only is allowing us to do one thing. So here's what I'm going to do on this problem. So here's what step 1 is. Use the exterior angle, because we need all 3 interior, right? So use the exterior angle to find out the interior. And we just talked about this. That line right there creates create supplementary angles. So I'm not going to make you write an equation that's just something like this, right? You just find the difference between 180 and 142. And that gives us a 38-degree angle. Okay, now step 2 is now I'm going to write my equation. I have x plus 95 plus 38 equals 180. Step 3 is I'll write this down. Simplify and solve. So x plus, and then I'm going to go 95 plus 38 equals 133. And solve for x. (180 minus 33), 180 minus 133 equals 47 degrees. Let me make sure that's correct. This is find the value of x, and the value of x, that's what we just did. It doesn't say find any other missing angle or anything else. It just says find the value of x. So x is equal to 47 degrees. All right, any questions before I let you try this one? All right, here we go. The problem right before that, problem number 18. Okay, number 18, go. All right, how many of you need more time? Okay. Checking with you guys in about 30 seconds. Bless you. Bless you. All right. Anyone still need more time? Okay, just a few more seconds, then I'm going to have you guys share. Okay, 30 seconds. Turn to your neighbor and share. Go.
I got 93 degrees.
Okay, so if you go through the steps, right, we find out our missing angle here. So 180 minus 118. So 62 degrees. And then set up my equation. So the x plus the 62 degrees plus the 25 degrees, all interior angles, will equal 180. So it's x plus, and then this, of course, is 87 equals 180. And then if I, of course, subtract 87 from both sides of the equation, we end up with x equals 93, or in this case, x is the angle, so 93 degrees. All right, questions on that problem? All right, let's go ahead. Let's check out problem number 4. Now, really quickly, before we talk about this, okay, I want to talk about ratios. So if, I don't know, we're just talking about geometry. Let's say area. Let's say the area of something. We say, well, the area between the two has a ratio of 1 to 3 in size, okay? That basically would mean that this is 3 times larger than that, okay? So what this is if we had this be a value of x, or 1x, this one would be what? 3x. You see that? So the reason why I'm telling you this is because of problem number 4. It says the measure of the angles of a triangle are in a ratio, and here they go. It's a 2 to 3 to 5, right? Because they're talking about the angles. They're not. That's what they're talking about, not the area, but the angles. Okay, the angle measurement. It says, what are the measures of the angles? So here's all you do. Because of what we just talked about earlier, we're going to actually relate all of these to x. So we would just say 2 becomes 2x, 3 is 3x, and 5 would be 5x. Now after that, what you're going to do is you are going to add them up and considering that they are interior angles of a triangle, they're going to equal 180. 2 to 3 to 5 ratio of interior angles. 2x plus 3x plus 5x equals the 180. Now, step 3 is using this. I'm going to simplify and solve. So, combining like terms on this side, well, 2x plus 3x is 5x plus another 5x. That's 10x. 10x equals 180. I divide both sides by 10. X is equal to 18. Now here's the thing. It says, what are the measures of the angles? We just found the value of x. But these we added up because 2x is one of our angles. 3x is another one of our angles. And 5x is another one of our angles. X is not an angle. So one of the angles is double of what x is. So guys, step 4, find your 3 angles. So, for note purposes, here's what I'm going to do. 18, or 2 times 18, is 36 degrees. By the way, I put a little star by step 4 because we don't want to forget that these are angles, so make sure you put your units on there. 3 times 18, again, I'm just doing the 3 and 18 for your notes where you won't forget. So 18 times 3 equals 54 degrees. And then we have 5 times 18. So 5 times 18 equals 90 degrees. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that is our final answer. All right, questions on that kind of problem? All right, let's go ahead and try out problem number 12. 12, go. All right. Anyone need more time? Okay. Guys, if you are done, continue working. I'll give those of you still working, I'll give you about 15 to 20 more seconds. Okay, guys, 30 seconds. Turn to your neighbor and share. Go.
I got 10 degrees, 10 degrees, and 116 degrees.
All right, here we go. It says determine the measures of angles of triangle ABC if the measures of the angles are in the ratio 1 to 1 to 16. 1 to 1 to 16. All right, so just following the steps, right? Just like I did down here. So I'm going to go ahead and just say 1x plus 1x plus 16x equals 180. This gives me right here, combining like terms, 18x equals 180, which, dividing both sides by 18, gives me that x is equal to 10. So don't forget our last step, right? We're not finding out what x is, we're finding out what the missing angles are. So this one's nice and easy, right? So it's, the first one is 1, or 1 times, I should say, look here, 1 times 10 is 10 degrees. 1 times the 10 is 10 degrees. 16 times the 10 is 160 degrees. You should always add them up, right? Check it if you want. 160 plus 10 is 170 plus 10 is 180. Should always add up to 180, and there we go. All right, questions on that one? All right, we're going to go ahead and try one last type of problem. We're going to get into a little more algebra here. So let's go ahead and take a look at problem 23. It actually falls on page 507, 23. All right, here we go. So, triangle looks kind of like this. We have one angle here that's 72 degrees. We have this angle they say is just x degrees, and they have this one up here that's x minus 2. It's 2 less degrees than that angle right there. Find the measures of the angles in the triangle. So guys, I mean, there's no extra step here. They just give us all the interior angles. Now we just write them down. So we have x minus 2 plus 72 plus x equals 180. Now, because in front of the parentheses has a positive value, because there's no sign there, I can actually just drop the parentheses and say x minus 2 plus 72 plus x equals 180. Now on this side, if I can combine like terms, x plus x is 2x. 72 minus 2 is a positive 70. Obviously, guys, I'm doing step 2, which is simplify and solve. So, subtract 70 from both sides, and I get 2x equals 110. Divide both sides by 2 to isolate the variable. X is equal to 55. So always read the question to see, or the directions to see what they're asking again. Find the measures of the angles, not the value of x, just the measure of the angles in each triangle. So my 3 angles, which this would be step 3, if x is equal to 55, that means one of the angles is actually x. So that one's easy, 55 degrees. Another angle is right there, it's already given, 72 degrees. And that one is x minus 2, which is, and I'll again put in here for note purposes, 55 minus 2, which is 53 degrees. All right, questions on that one? Okay, I'm going to let you guys try one yourself, and then I'll check in with you, and then that is the last type of problem for this lesson. All right, it is problem, the one right before that, problem 22. 22, go. Okay, how many of you need more time? Okay, 30 seconds. Turn to your neighbor and share. Go.
I got 45, 45, and 90.
All right, here we go. Find the measures of the angles in each triangle. Well, it's very similar to this one up here. So I'm going to take it, add all of these up. We know the sum of all three angles equal 180. So if I combine like terms here, it's 2x plus x plus x. Well, that's 4x equals 180. Divide both sides by 4. X equals, well, dividing by 4, right, is splitting it in half twice. 45. So since x is equal to 45, that means that two of the angles are 45 degrees. So 45 degrees and 45 degrees, and the other one is twice that size. Oh, this is a right triangle. All right, guys, questions? All right, lesson on triangles.